Thank you so much for joining the Georgia College and State University Alumni Lifelong Learning Series. My name is Nadira Mayweather, and I am our Director of Alumni Engagement, and I apologize about my voice. So if it picks up on the recording weird, I'm going to do my best. But we're so thankful for the partnership that we do have with the College of Continuing and Professional Studies and for the collaboration with Angela Crisco, Dr. Angela Crisco and her team. And so this is our fifth in the series so far. So we're super excited about it and thankful for all that have joined today. If you are not in the live recording today and you are joining us as you're watching from our YouTube channel later, we're also thankful for your presence being here today. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started, and I'll turn it over to Dr. Crisco.
Thank you very much, Nadira. Yes, we are so excited about this collaboration with Alumni Relations. Today, we have alum Christopher Jackson. He is a global strategic communicator, a creative writer, and media, entertainment, and marketing professional. He is an alum of Georgia College and State University. He has a bachelor's degree in 3 disciplines: mass communication, world languages and cultures, and liberal studies. He is currently pursuing his Master's of Arts in Mass Communication with a concentration in Global Strategic Communication from the University of Florida. And he is working as the coordinator of communication and marketing for Tri-County EMC, fiber internet affiliate to Trico Go. So today, he is going to talk to us about that balancing act, being able to be a graduate school while also working as a professional. So I'm going to turn the time over to you, Christopher. Thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Of course. Thank you, Angela. I'm so excited to be here, and thank you to Angela and Nadira for both having me on to talk a little bit about balance. And as you probably heard in that beautiful bio, there's a lot of stuff going on in my life currently, and balance has to be at the center of it. And when Angela reached out to me about what I wanted to speak on, I was like, right now I'm learning balance. And everything today that I'm going to talk about, I'm not perfect at it. So we're all learning together and trying to figure out this balance of life. And I hope I can teach you a thing or two today. Before we get started, I would love to know a little bit about everyone. So if you want to throw it in the chat, kind of where you are in what stage of your career, and maybe 2 things that you're balancing right now. Maybe that's work and studies, or maybe that can be professional or something that you're working on outside of your career. But throw that in the chat, and I would love to get to know us a little bit before we get rolling with the presentation. All of these are great. And that all of these take a lot of working full-time and teaching, yes. All of those take an extreme amount of balance and just learning how to leverage and how to delegate tasks, balancing moving. Oh, that for sure. Moving in a new job, outside interest. That's the 3. It's the professional, it's the academic, and then also the outside interest. Nadira is balancing a lot of different things. I feel you. Well, that's so great. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen, and we're going to kind of learn a little bit about balance together. So let's get into it. So today, the title of my presentation that I bring to the Alumni Association is Thriving as a Young Professional and Graduate Student. And by no means am I perfect at this, but I am trying to learn with us and be a lifelong learner so we can grow together and balance being great Bobcats, if you will. I want to pay homage to my mass communication and specifically film and television with my favorite director, and a quote by him. And Jordan Peele states, "I love biting off more than I can chew and figuring it out." And that's kind of, if you know me, that is kind of what I get myself into, whether that be my studies or with a job or just throwing myself into a new situation is something that I just find myself in happening time and time again, and figuring it out on the spot is a great skill to have. And I think this quote from Jordan Peele is a great way to get us started with what we're talking about today, which is balance. So how did we get here? I asked myself that question this morning when I was talking on the phone with Angela. How did we get here? And we can take it all the way back into maybe when I was a ninth grade journalism student, trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And I've always been even in this picture, I was a young boy with a big dream, and that was become a professional in the film and television production industry. And though I probably didn't know it at the time, these goals have been pivotal in the way that I've gone about my career and my life. So we'll fast forward a little bit because we don't need to go far that back in time. But like Angela stated, I was in the class of 2023 at Georgia College and State University. And through my mass communication internship, I found a great position at Tri-County EMC, specifically in the fiber internet affiliate where I work in marketing and communication now, which has landed me in the opportunity to further continue my education at the University of Florida. So what is balance? And I think we could answer this very philosophically. We can get very liberal arts spirited, if you will. But today I thought what better way to answer the question of what is balance than an acronym? And I love teaching with acronyms because I think they're fun, and I think there's a way to better understand with a way of understanding with an acronym. So I spelled out balance, and I really thought about it deeply. What are the things that we need to be balanced? So firstly, we need to believe. We need to believe in ourselves. If we have a goal, we need to believe that we can achieve it, and we need people around us that are also believing with us. So believing that you can do it is something that is very pivotal in setting up balance. And then acceptance. We have to accept the actual position that we're in. It might look different than any other season of life that you've experienced, and it might be more challenging, it might be burdensome at times, but we have to accept the actual state of life that we're in right now and be almost at bliss at the season that we're at. And then we need to learn. I have a little, it's small, but you have an image on your screen of a little kid about to touch the hot stove. And I think that's a great representation of kind of where I am at my learning stage right now of balance, where I might touch the stove once and figure out that, hey, that didn't work for me, but I'm not going to do it again. And I think we've all been kind of there in our professional and academic lives where we had to try something out and learn for ourselves that that's not the way that I learn, or that's not the way I study best, or that's not the way that I function best in my office. And then awareness and assessment. I think we have to be aware of what we're actually taking on with balance. We have to be aware that we're a graduate student, or we're moving, or we're looking for a new job, and also give us grace that we're also taking on a lot of different things. And then assess with that, what do we need to do differently in this period of life that might not have ever been done before. And then we also need to take into account needs and network. And I think network is so important here. And we're going to talk a little bit further in depth about network. But we need to know our needs, but sometimes we don't know our own needs. So it's really important to have a network who knows you and that can cater to your needs when you don't best know what you need. So take into account what you need, and maybe that's better balancing different things, like make sure you're on time to different things, or make sure you're getting the proper meals that you need to be successful. Maybe that's a little less caffeine in the morning so I can uh, achieve better in my work day, but also have people around you that know you best as well. And then be centered. This can look a lot of different ways for a lot of different people. Maybe that's prayer, maybe that's meditation, or maybe that's just taking time in the morning to get centered and understand what you need. Maybe this looks like listing out all your activities that you need to do to best be successful, and just be centered and understanding what you need to do to be balanced. And also energy. This is something that I'm learning myself right now, is you need energy to be successful. Just because you can go on empty doesn't mean you should. So taking care of yourself and resting and having time to just be sometimes. And Angela, as you'll see in a later slide, is my mentor, and she has encouraged me time and time again to conserve your energy. Sometimes we just have to say no, which we'll learn how to do together in a later slide. But the last thing in this acronym is discipline and determination. And without those two, it's going to be very hard to succeed in balance. We have to be disciplined. There's going to be times where we just cannot do everything. And we also have to just believe in ourselves and just keep on that sprint so we can achieve all the things that we want to. So maybe take a mental picture or take a picture of your screen, screenshot this, but this is the blueprint of balance to me. And I hope that that kind of sets like a beginning image of what we're going to learn today as being balanced in different areas of our life. So I want to give you 5 different pointers that I've learned through mess ups, through ways that I failed, but these are going to be my 5 different suggestions for how to be balanced. So the first one is set goals. And this might seem like very blunt, but we have to set goals in order to achieve them. But making goals as SMART goals will help you better succeed. And if you ask what SMART goals are, these are goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, and relevant and time bound. So making a goal that is able to achieve is really important. So if you're making a far-fetched goal for yourself that you're setting yourself up for failure, this isn't good. We want to be able to achieve our goals, make ourselves motivated by our goals, and time bound is really important. So maybe have some goals that are short-term goals and then long-term goals in order to best succeed and set yourself up for success. And then like I was stating, break your goals up into action steps. So divide larger goals into smaller and measurable tasks. Sometimes it's just, I have this little on my desk and it says small steps every day. So sometimes we can't achieve the whole incentive in one day. We might not be able to execute the whole project within 1 week, but just small steps to those goals, and even our educational goals, or even where we want to be in the future in our professional life, just small steps every day to achieving that goal. And number 2, find mentors. And I love this slide so much because I have a lot of great mentors in my life. And the way you do this is leveraging your network. As Georgia College alum, we have a lot of great opportunities to have a great network and have people around us that want us to succeed. And this could be colleagues, professors, just professionals in your field. LinkedIn is a great opportunity where you can meet new people and connect. But some of my mentors that I want to give a shout out to are Dr. Christina Smith, Dr. Aaron Castroverde, Dr. Mariana Stoyanova, Dr. Audrey Redman, Professor Amanda Respis, Professor Michael Cruz, Dr. Mikkel Christensen, and the lovely Angela Crisco. So all of those have been pivotal in my academic and professional journey, helping me apply to grad school, being references for my current position, and having those people behind you are really, it's just a pivotal opportunity to success by having those people who are championing and for you. And like we stated earlier, just know you better than you know yourself sometimes. And by giving you advice and encouraging you constantly, a mentor is something that you definitely want to have in your corner as you're learning to balance different tasks. All right, point 3, embracing the struggle. And this is something that that I'm learning constantly, that sometimes that things aren't going to be perfect, and you have to, as point 1 states, shift your mindset to view challenges with growth opportunities. So seeing the struggle as an opportunity to grow and further your opportunities to learn something new. And then also focus on small victories and progress. Like we said earlier, small steps every day. And we're learning through the struggle, and having a mindset of short-term struggle for long-term success is a great mindset to have. So if you're doing something that's going to benefit you in the future, just think about it this way: it's short-term struggle for long-term success. And that's something that will honestly shift your mindset when you're embracing the struggle. Point 4, learn how to say no. And I need to keep on and keep on and keep on reading this slide, but it's very difficult sometimes. And trust me, we're all learning this together. And in the wise words of the former American Idol judge, Randy Jackson, I just need to say, it's a no for me, dog. Like sometimes that's what we have to do, but there's ways to say no strategically. And those are 2 points that I want to make to saying no. So we need to be clear and concise. So communicate well. We need to politely decline request without over explaining. For example, you can say, "Thank you for thinking of me, but I won't be able to take that on at this time." And also giving alternate suggestions can really help saying no as well. For example, you can say, "I can't do it this week, but I'll be happy to help next time." So that gives an opportunity that you know you better than anyone else. So don't take on more than you can at this time, but also give an alternative to know that you're grateful for the opportunity, but knowing your schedule and having to be balanced, you can't do it at this moment. And then lastly, communication. And as a communication major, communication is key. And being in the corporate world, I'm learning not everybody knows how to communicate. And if you can, being a communicator is such an effective tool that will change your whole ability to be balanced in the workplace or wherever you're struggling to be balanced at. So the first thing you want to do is be transparent and productive. So just being able to express to the people around you, maybe that's your personal life, your boss, or your professors, "Hey, this is my current situation." And we'll read one of my emails that I've sent to a professor recently. "Hey, this is my current situation, and I might not be able to meet your expectations. Can you help me help you to better understand where my situation is right now and what I can um, better do to meet your expectations?" And also prioritize and set boundaries. And that's something that I'm learning at the same time is not everything can be go, go, go. You have to sometimes take a back seat and learn that, hey, I need to reset. I need to take a personal day. And sometimes there has to be a little bit of balance. And so I wanted to read off this email, and I thought this was, I didn't even think about this until I was preparing for this project, but I had a situation in my last semester where my work week just had the best of me. And I had a lot of different things that I had to prepare for work, and I was about to submit a lackluster assignment to one of my professors. And I sent an email that read, "I hope all is well. My apologies for interrupting your weekend," starting off with just a little bit of courtesy to my professor, and then said, "I'm checking to see if my research assignment 10, problem and solution identification, could be accepted on Monday. I had a taxing work scheduled this week, and while that is no excuse, I want to ensure that my best work is turned in addition, best in an additional day. Um, I will have my best. If not, I will have my best version in by midnight. I'm sorry to bother you with this request." So just explaining my current situation and also having an understanding for and respect for the course as well. And this was met with great reciprocity from my professor. Being upfront and communicating honestly and effectively, I was able to have that extra day and turn in a great assignment. And just honesty and explaining where you are in your current place of balance is great to better have the best communication. And also with my friends, just being able to shoot a text message to my friends, "Hey, I can't do this right now. I hate that I can't make it, but I would love to next time." Communication through friends, professors, and colleagues and your boss will very much help the communication at large. So I have some affirmations for us as we go on and learning to be balanced. So my first affirmation that I wanted to say is that you are more able than you think. And this is something that you need to speak to yourself and also have your mentors and your fan base speak to you, because sometimes we can't do it by our own will. We need some external validation, and you are more able than you think. And you're gonna, hey, if this season's a little bit rocky and you're moving, or you're trying to find a new job, or you're balancing getting a PhD, or you're trying to get your master's, you're more able than you think, and you need to believe in yourself a little bit more so you can achieve that goal. All right. Secondly, short-term struggle for long-term reward. And this is something that I say to myself consistently. And when I'm missing an opportunity to hang out with my friends, or there's a vacation that I can't take right now because I really need to be present at work, or different things that I just know that I can't say yes to right now. And sometimes it seems like we're riding the struggle bus, but one day, because of the balance that we've set up for ourselves right now, we're going to be able to reap that reward in due time. So just remember, though we might be riding the struggle bus right now, there'll be a time that we have that reward. And then my affirmation 3, you have more fans than you realize. And something that I didn't even realize is when this went out, that all the support that I got taking on this opportunity to speak with the Alumni Association, I had so many people reach out to me on Facebook and share this post about this event. And it's great to see that you have so many more fans than you realize. And it's kind of weird to think of it as fans, but you really do. You have people in your corner cheering for you, and they know that you can do it. And just think about that one person in your head right now that's constantly cheering you on. And hey, if you need that encouragement, go to them and let them get the pom poms out, and you can do it. So just think about that and realize that you really do have more fans than you realize. And this is a point to graduate students, or PhD students that, or maybe even undergraduate students that are struggling just with perfectionism. And I had a mentor in the Spanish department when I was working on my Spanish thesis for Georgia College. And I was just bogged down with the stress of, is this going to get approved? Is my capstone going to be well received? And I was really stressed out and like over changing all the different components of it. And I ran into one of my mentors, and she told me, Christopher, sometimes complete is your best work. And I just have to say, hey, I have a lot going on right now. I was balancing 3 majors in undergraduate. Complete was the best that I had, and it also ended up being well received. So sometimes just getting it in and being done is the best that you have, and you have to be okay with that. And you're not going to be perfect at everything, but complete might be your best work at this time. And then something I'm learning right now is stop and smell the roses, or life will make you. So if you don't stop, sometimes life's going to stop you. And that could look like getting sick by not taking care of yourself, or just literally you're going to take on so much stress that life's going to make you stop. So while you can, stop and smell the roses, be present in the struggle, or be present in the beauty of what's going on around you, or life's going to make you stop. And it's a lot better to stop yourself before we have to deal with a cold, or have to stop for stress or some mental health. But hey, stop and smell the roses and before life makes you. And as we come to an end, if you need a mentor, finding a mentor or seeking mentorship, feel free to email me at christopherjacksoneducation at gmail.com. And I would love to help you be a mentor to you, or find a mentor for you. And this process has been great for me. I have a lot of great people in my corner, and I think that that's something that we all as Bobcats can reap the benefit of, is having a great mentor. And as we end, I want to start the same way that we came in, with a quote. And this was a quote from a letter that Albert Einstein wrote to his son in 1930. And I feel like it's ever present in this moment, just alike. And it reads, life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. And if you learn nothing else today, we just got to keep going. And sometimes we might have some struggles or some hardships, but to keep that balance, we have to keep going. And it's also great to know that you have an alumni association and your fellow Bobcats there rooting you on the whole way. So uh, as we come to a conclusion, I'm open for question and answers, but thank you so much for having me. And I hope this has helped you learn a little bit more about being balanced in all the areas of your life.
Thank you, CJ. We really appreciate that. Let's turn it over to our guest. What kind of questions might you have for CJ, or examples that you might share of how you are balancing work, life, maybe even you're going back to school?
While people are thinking about their comments and questions, I just wanted to say this was so on time. All of the slides for me personally. So thank you for being timely and having something that can carry no matter what season of life you are in. The
That's right.
information that you shared was very, very good. And I'm an acronym lover as well. So I have written it down and bolded it in my planner.
Yes,
So I
I need to
appreciate
read it myself too every day.
I have a question if there's
you.
none in the chat. So hey, I'm Michelle. I've
Michelle.
got my master's here at Georgia College and now I'm back working in advancement. And so I was just wondering from like a day-to-day standpoint, I work very closely with Nadira and we were always like wondering everybody's best practices for when you get in the day. Do you have like a list of things that you want to complete that day, or how do you balance all these different things kind of on like a day-to-day basis? Like, do you have a system that works or some that you're trying, or just any insight into that maybe?
So, a lot of people that I work with say I work in organized chaos. So I have a lot of scribbles on my desk, a lot of sticky notes. If it's not written down, it's not in my mind. So I have to have it on my calendar. I have to have it on a sticky note or a piece of paper in front of me. So if you tell me something, I need to write it down immediately, or it's going to be I have too much stuff going on in my mind to remember it all. So it's really important for me to have that schedule, have that. I constantly keep a legal pad on me, so scribbling notes, that's my best practice. But I do take a few minutes in the morning, check my email, kind of consider my day, write out my assignments that are due for graduate school, and also think about everything that I need to check off my checklist in a given day. Thank you for the question. That's great.
I love the sticky notes everywhere. I feel like
Yes.
that's how we operate too.
How have you changed from when you were an undergraduate to a graduate student in terms of your balance?
Oh, that's a great question. I think that I was a little bit of a perfectionist in undergraduate, and not having to work in undergraduate allowed for a lot more time on assignments. So learning how to do my best work, and also kind of what one of the slides was like, best, like what your best is right now, just get it in, turn it in. And sometimes I would love to keep going and work hours on an assignment, but my time doesn't necessarily give me that same time that I had in undergraduates. So finding a balance of putting your best effort in, but also getting it in. So I think that's where I've changed, and a lot of times also confidence. Being able to put it down pen to paper more confidently. I've changed since undergraduate. We're having to maybe think a little bit more or organize my thoughts in a way where I've had the industry knowledge now, as well as also having taken more classes. I can be more confident in the way that go about an assignment.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I love that particular bullet point that you did share though about the getting it done versus it being like
Yeah.
perfect. Because I think a lot of people that deal with burnout also deal with perfectionism and wanting it to be the best possible. And sometimes that can be a hindrance for just taking care of the things that you need to get done, especially if the stakes are not as high,
That's
right? So if you want to do everything at a 10, but it's like you've got 10 tens to do that day,
that's right.
maybe um, it doesn't have to be as great as in your head you might have imagined. And that's something we talk a lot about in our area, is that what's in your brain and what you imagine, the rest of whoever you're dealing with, your audience, your constituents, your students, whatever it may be, they don't know what the original plan was.
That's right.
Right. So you're comparing it to what your original thought was. And when by the time that they get it, it probably is still great, right? Like the by the time your professor got your assignment, it probably was still amazing. It just wasn't what you had in your original plan. So sometimes that's, for me, even still, that's a great reminder that, like, it's done. You met the assignment, you did the task, you met the deadline, and let go of the comparison with your original idea to what your product is. And I think that again is a struggle for lots of people, but I really appreciate you highlighting that, because it's just like,
And especially as a liberal arts school, this is for the creative. That's something was very hard to consider. Like, we want to be creative all the time and have the best idea and have the most innovative approach. But sometimes you have to have something, and just being done. And that by no means means being lackluster, but sometimes your best work is just something that's turned in.
mm-hmm.
And in agile practices, that's just the base. That's your first thing. You learn as you do something, and it will make something else better. So if you just start with what the first thing is to do, figure out what did I learn from that, and then you can always go back, refine, add to, and make things better because you have more knowledge.
Yes, that's a great point.
Sorry for coming in late. I'm so sorry about that, but I loved what I did get to hear. And going off of that, we do have a lot of students who are perfectionists. Do you think there's any other way? I like the quote that your one professor gave you, but do you think there's anything else you wish you had learned, or a way that I teach marketing? Like, how can I teach my students now so they learn it earlier? Because I'm still learning the same thing. So do you have any other good quotes we can share?
Yeah. So
kind of a hard question.
This is kind of philosophical, and I think it's just the educational system at large. I think growing up, you saw the picture of me as a little journalism student. I think I came into Georgia College with this mindset of almost entitlement for positive affirmation. So learning to steer away from being like confident in your own work without receiving a great amount of reinforcement can really change the way that you view education, or just like professionalism as well. Because getting into like corporate America, you're not going to always see that positive reinforcement, but it's great when you hear from your boss or upper management. It might not be until something bad has happened. So you just got to realize that, hey, I'm doing my best. And I think I've told this story before of I walked into Angela's class early. I think it was my freshman or sophomore year, and I did this extra credit assignment for her. And I came in there as an eager undergraduate student, and I brought this extra credit assignment to her office to show her. And I expected her to be like, "Oh, this is great. You went above and beyond." And she, of course, praised me for it, but then handed me a list of feedback that was a page long. And I was like, kind of like taken aback, but then I like left her office. I was like, that's the first time, like, and that was a great way of understanding that, like, there's always room for growth. And I had another professor that you might make a 95 on an essay, but your whole paper is going to be read. And learning to take some negative, and not negative is not to be personal, but realize that there's always room for improvement, and kind of taking yourself and your like own personal success out of it, and kind of realize, oh, there's always room for growth. I don't know if that answered your question perfectly, but I think there's a way to grow there as students, at least.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a really good story, CJ. It also had me thinking, I've had students come into my office and talk very highly of another student and say, oh, John Doe does such a really good job. I'll never be able to do work like they do. And what I have said to those students is that student has that skill set because they live it, they breathe it, they sleep it. If you put in as much energy and time and effort and passion, you have to have the passion, then you can be just as great as this other person. And so I have told students, stop putting other students on a pedestal and get your butt up on the pedestal. Right? So find a way, if you're really impressed with somebody's work, talk with them and figure out how did they get to where they are today. And I've seen some students do that, and I've had some students say, I'm not that passionate, which is fine as long as you recognize that.
And that instance that we were just discussing, that motivated me. I was like, the next one I have to show her. I have to apply all of this. So just being able to receive feedback I think is an important skill for students.
I was just going to ask, I'm always a fan of planner systems and things of that nature, and they always seem to kind of help me when I'm off balance. So I was just curious if you had a particular favorite or one that you've seen that works for you, like digital versus analog, or if there's a system outside of that smarter goals or smart goals that you find is particularly helpful.
So I do use a weird system where I need it in front of my face. So I do have a paper calendar that's right in front of me that I look at the first part of the day, but I also need that notification on my computer. Hey, you're running late to this Zoom meeting. So getting that buzz, but also I can vividly see it on my calendar. I do double calendar system. But we use Microsoft I'm a fan of Google Calendar, but we use Microsoft at my office. So yeah.
I too am curious. What type of paper planner is it?
I'll give you a little. It's a little chaotic right now, so.
Oh, you're fine. You don't have to show. Okay. So the monthly view.
It is.
She and I share that love of planners.
Yes, I feel like sometimes somebody will walk into my office or tell me, I love it. Tell me something real quick, and I might not be able to make it into Microsoft fast enough, so I need to scratch it down really fast. That's right. And then also, it's a lot of times from the legal pad at the end of the day, putting it into the online calendar. Going back to the organized chaos.
Well, thank you, CJ, for being here. We are grateful for you taking time out of your busy life and day to share with us how you organize and balance life. Nadira, I'll turn it over to you to wrap us up and close us out.
Thank you. Well, dittoing what Angela just shared, thank you so much. The information that you shared has been wonderful. And I'm so glad that you took the time to be with us today. And as I mentioned earlier, we will make sure that this is shared so that not just those present today will benefit from this information, but other alumni and alumni engagement and the School of Continuing and Professional Studies will continue to collaborate to bring future sessions to you all. Just also want to acknowledge LL Purcell, who's on the line. She was one of our previous speakers for the Lifelong Learning series, but thank all of you for being here today. It has been fabulous, and we look forward to the next session. And Chris, we hope that this isn't the last time, or CJ, I'm sorry if that's the preference. We hope that this isn't the last time that you will come back and engage with us in this way. This has been great, and I'm sure that there'll be future things that come from this. So thank you so much again.